This podcast is brought to you by Podcast Nation.
You're listening to Wellness Junkies,
where wellness gets real, not perfect.
Welcome to Wellness Junkies, where we try all the wellnessy things, spill the beauty tips, and have real conversations, all with a side of fun.
We're in it, learning together with you.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Katie. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Wellness Junkies. It's Amy, and I'm so excited to be here with Zoe Feldman, interior designer, who I love so much. And I was just going to tell you, Zoe, that when I first started the podcast almost 5 years ago, you were my first guest because I looked back and you were January of 2021, episode 6.
Really?
Yeah. I was like looking back and I'm like, you were my first like real guest on, which was then Nirvana Sisters, now Wellness Junkies. So like, this is full circle. It's crazy. And you've grown so much. I mean, you were big then, and now I feel like you're even bigger and like doing so many things. I can't even keep up with you. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. I'm so happy you're back. It's so good to see you.
Oh, Amy, I'm so glad to be here. You've been a friend for a long time and a client. I don't know if they know that. But.
Yes. I have posted some pictures of my beautiful house, but it's all due to Zoe and her incredible creativity and partnership. We had such a good time doing my house, which is now like so long ago. But
and before
it's
this house, we did your
Yes, my first house. That's right. Actually, see this board behind me?
Is that from there?
This is from my first house, and I used to have all these like fun photos on here. I recently like cleaned it up, and now I need something new back here. Maybe you can tell me what to put back here, because now I just have it as my background for recording, and I'm like, it's so boring. But like, it was so cluttered, I couldn't look at it anymore. I had all my like Insta things, but it wasn't organized. Anyway, so tell us what you've been up to. I mean, you've grown significantly. I know you have offices in DC and New York. You're doing so much. You just launched another part of the business. So kind of want to hear where you've been since we interviewed you last, which was so long ago.
Okay. So let's see. You interviewed me 4 years ago. What have we been doing? Well, yes, we launched a whole new offering called Demi that we're really excited about that taps into a bigger audience. So it's for smaller projects, more manageable budgets. And it's a way for us to work in more platforms and to work with more people. And that's a national brand. So we work everywhere, and that's exciting. Our full service is still primary. You know, it's still big, and we're just traveling a lot. I've been traveling a lot for that. Last week I was in South Carolina. I go to New York all the time, obviously, because we have an office there, which has been interesting. I don't know. What else am I allowed to talk about, Rachel? We have a lot of things coming up. We have a collaboration coming up. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it yet. We're working on our first commercial project that I'm not allowed to talk about.
That's so exciting.
All right. We have so much stuff coming on,
Okay,
which is under lock and key.
Yes.
But if you're bored by me, you're going to get way more bored because we're coming out harder.
We could never be bored by you. I love following you on Instagram and seeing all the things you're up to and just like living vicariously through your designer world. It's so amazing. And we'll talk more about Demi as we get through this podcast, because I think it's a really incredible idea. So, all right, we are in the summer. Everyone's having summer parties, outside parties, inside parties. Give us some of your quick tips for summer decorating. Like, for example, me, right? Like, I haven't done my house in a long time. Like, what can I do to zhuzh up the house to like make it feel fresh?
Okay, let's see. Summer decorating. I have such easy things because I just think of parties as an opportunity to make your house feel warm and be like an expression of yourself. So I would say if there's china or things that you haven't used much of, or tablecloths, like dust those off. I know some people will end up purchasing new things for parties, but it's an opportunity to pull out things you don't often use, things you might be got for your wedding that sit around and collect dust. I don't think, even if it's outdoor, I'm never precious about that. I don't think that things have to be for outdoor use to be used outdoors.
Right.
We tend to break those rules. We like to use the things that we have in any opportunity. It's a nice time to bring out candles that you may have gotten. Everyone gets candles as gifts. So it's a nice time to sort of like create maybe a signature scent in your house. I tend to forget to light candles, but I've been lighting them lately as just we start opening up the house a little bit. And it's just been reminding me how like wonderful it is to add in another layer of sensory into your home. So not just visual
Mhm.
sensory, but like smell. Let's see.
One of the things you told me in our last podcast, which I still remember and do all the time, is foraging.
Yes.
Um, I literally that tip I use all the time. Every time we have someone over or we have like some sort of gathering in our house, like go out and I'm like, okay, what looks good outside? And I bring it in and it's so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, especially in spring and summer
Oh
because
my gosh.
dead, which has been horrible to forage. So we still sometimes do, but we're finding just like anything left over that's green. So now everything's out and ready for you to pick. You almost like don't even need to purchase flowers, cut flowers. Even if you don't have a garden, you're just cutting off trees and be careful that they're yours or you don't get caught. But it's foraging.
Yes, branches.
Yeah.
I have a lot of peonies outside my house that I planted like tons. And I've just been cutting them all and like making sure there's no ants, shaking them out, and then putting them all around my house. And it's just like it's so beautiful. I love it.
And I think there's just something really relaxing and nice about like a local experience, the idea that things are growing in your garden and then brought onto your table or brought into your home. And it feels like we're sort of like responding to the earth in some ways, just like this is what's growing right now. And so this is what we're using versus like maybe going to the market or the supermarket and finding whatever they purchased from overseas or from another area.
Yeah,
I just think that's sort of nice that
I
it's
agree.
local.
Okay, I just read that you design your own home, which I didn't realize. So I need to hear all about this because I don't know how you could be your own client and must have been very difficult for you. So how was the experience? Tell us about it.
Oh, well, it was great. I mean, it only took 6 years. Nothing went wrong. Nothing was ever changed. I did a lot of paint this room, then repaint it. Um, so that is intense. I think I can say this that we're selling our house. Okay. We're in the process of
Oh,
selling our home, right? Because, for me, once I finish a place, I'm done with it. And so I'm actually working on a new house.
oh my gosh.
And now I think this is going to be my thing. I'm going to,
Like
I,
you're gonna move into houses, design them,
yeah,
and then move out. I'm sure
I
your
think,
family loves that.
yeah. Well, actually, funnily, my husband was very resistant to it, but it was a very simple process. And I think he realized, well, this is kind of fun. And this is a really interesting way for us to continue to market ourselves. And for me, I am always working with clients, which is fun, but I can't always do everything the way I want to do it because obviously I'm working for somebody else and that's important that they see themselves in the project and that I'm really just there to help them find their aesthetic.
Yeah,
While I do find myself in it and I feel proud of it and I definitely have a huge hand in how that happens, um, of course, it's just not going to be exactly what I would do because it's not my home. So this was an opportunity. It's the first time I've published a house of my own, and it was an opportunity for me to really flex my creative muscles, which sometimes we're making mistakes and restarting. But in the end, I'm so proud of it, and it just was like so interesting to actually be my own client. And
right.
it's terrible, but I think I learned a lot, meaning I was a terrible client, but I've learned a lot and I'm rolling into this next project with like a little more understanding of how I work. And I'm actually treating this as a proper project. Like one of my teams is full time work, not full time, they have other jobs as well, but I'm one of their clients, or Matt and I should say, are one of our clients. I even use my married name to separate church and state.
Oh,
Um,
smart.
yeah. So it feels like somebody else.
Right.
We're working with an
Your
architect.
alter ego.
Yes. So we didn't work with an architect the first time. So we're working with architect. So it's been a really interesting and I'm able to use a lot of what I've learned with my clients on myself and hopefully not make quite as many mistakes and not take 6 years this time.
And I would also think, I mean, just from a business standpoint, selling your house is gonna get a big I mean, we'll get a lot of buzz and we'll get a lot of interest because who doesn't wanna live in a designer's home? Like, that's incredible. It's like walking into a magazine. So that's
You would
so
have loved this, Amy. This is like your dream. When working with you you were like one of the first people who loved what we did so much that do you remember this? That I'd be like, but Aim, like if someone comes over, shut the curtains and you're like, I'm never touching these once you finish them.
I know. Literally, my house has stayed the same like since you left. Like I've never touched a book. And like we've added a lot of art, which you need to come over and see. Like we've added a lot of really cool art from traveling. But other than that, everything's pretty much the same.
And that's how a lot of my clients are, they're very sort of like,
Like
this is,
this is how Zoe did
yeah.
it. This is, but I do need a couple new things, which I need a carpet. I need a couple new things. But there's still like one area we haven't done that my husband's like, we got to do this area by the stairs. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to pull out what Zoe told us. That's so funny.
Is we found a 100-year-old house that needs a lot of work and a lot of love, but that's what I like. And where I can really, I tend to love the bones of an old home. And I love the idea of like breathing new life into something that's been here and modernizing it.
Yeah.
That's just like always an interesting challenge to me. And I love I love seeing a house evolve over time. And I want to pass it off to the next person who wants to sort of do the same thing. So I like that in a home. And so I was worried I wouldn't find something that would fit the bill and our price point, like the whole thing. But as life does, it, worked out. And I'm really excited about it. It's like a
That's really cool. So are you going to live in it as you design it, or are you going to be able to design it and not live in it? Because it sounds like this probably needs a lot of
yeah.
work.
We're going to not live in it for a while and then likely move in before my clients would move in. So we'll do sort of probably a hybrid where, I don't let my clients move in until it's perfect, and we'll likely move in like around 4 months before that happens and live through some of the pain. But we'll stay out of it for some of the heavy construction.
That's so exciting. Congrats. That's a very cool new venture. I love that.
Yeah. And I think from a marketing perspective, we're figuring out like how we sort of take control of some of our own content with this one, which is exciting because with marketing, we're always holding projects for a long time. And then we can't, like we did with your house, and it's not until we fully, photograph and then it gets placed and then we're allowed to use it as social collateral. And, but everything has to stay very sort of hush. But with this project in particular, we want to roll it out differently and create a narrative around it. So
yeah, I was just going to say from my expertise, you should definitely be doing that, like following the journey and the process. Because I think people are really interested in that behind the scenes and like how it gets made and all the like nuts and bolts, the dirty, the clean, like all that stuff is incredible. So I love that you're doing that.
And it's the first time we've done that. So this is like an exciting new adventure for us.
Well, it's nice because it's your house. So it's like you don't have to ask permission. Like other people might not want that documented. But for you, this can be like your own mini documentary. So I love it.
Oh, I love that. It's our mini documentary. I love that.
Yeah. So I love that. You just did your own home. You're involved in so many of your clients' homes. So what are the latest trends? Like I haven't followed, the design world in a while. So like what are you seeing? What are people wanting? What's happening in the world of design?
Let's see. I think stone has been natural stone has really taken a front seat. For a long time, the stone was very quiet. People were even using a lot of quartz, but natural stone is definitely having a big impact moment right now. And almost in like not quite as veiny as we were seeing before, but more in like quartzite, like stone, like let's see, like larger pieces of stone. So almost like artwork, multicolor. So we're getting a lot out of stone right now in a more organic way, I would say.
I love that.
For us, because we're always color forward, we're seeing a lot of color, but I think you're seeing a lot of color just in general. Like you're seeing a sofa in a color or a bed in a color where the neutrals are kind of taking a back seat. So not just painting walls. And while that's always happening, we're seeing more color in lighting, more color in furniture, which, is for us a bit like catch up because we've been doing this forever.
Right.
The world is starting to like value color more and currently. In a deeper way and in a lot of different spaces. And I think we're just allowing things to patina more. So we're just seeing, natural metals and natural stone. And maybe this is just because we're in a world where we're all trying to be a little more thoughtful about how we live. And I think that's showing up in the organicness of the materials versus like man-made materials or perfect materials. We're like really like leaning into the imperfectness of design and the imperfectness of life. Um, and we're seeing that um, in the home as well.
Yeah, I remember it was you or someone told me when I have my marble like islands in my kitchen and it's like you can't worry about if it gets scratched or nicked. Like that's the beauty of it. You want it to feel imperfect. You want it to feel used. You don't want it to just be this like perfect piece.
Yeah.
Which I've somewhat leaned into, but not as much as my husband. Um,
Yeah, I mean, we forget that the kitchen is a workhorse. The kitchen isn't a
yes.
place. It's a place to cook. It's a place to, you're creating things. And when we create things, we tell part of our story and things will change over time because spills will happen or messes will happen and that's actually what it is meant to do. And I think in this country we often forget that and we live in a very precious way where everything needs to stay as we found it instead of allowing it to evolve. It's just something I discuss with not just you, Amy, but like have and forever. I've always felt this way, so I discuss this with my clients. Like I purposely cut directly on my stone often, to set an example that, like, while it is marble and it is honed, it's meant to have etching in it
Mhm.
because it's essentially a big cutting board if you want it to be, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so I know Martha Stewart does this as well, but we don't live this way. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on clients, in fact, to keep things perfect. And if everyone would just sort of live differently and maybe just have a different mindset around it, um,
Yeah.
wouldn't feel so anxious about the wine spilling or, that sort of thing.
Right. And I think a lived in home, even when people come over, feels more comfortable than cleaning it up to the T where everything looks like a magazine. Like it just doesn't feel like there's life in it. So we were talking about the kitchen, and it's great to see that like the days of like the neutral white kitchen is gone. And I've been seeing a lot of photos lately on your Instagram of these incredible kitchens. Like, how are you convincing your clients to do these beautiful, color forward type kitchens that I've been seeing?
Like Alex's kitchen. We have a
Yes.
mutual
Yes,
launch.
yes.
Demi
Her
with. Yeah.
I went to her house recently and I was like, I mean, it's I literally was touring her house like every inch. I was like, "Okay, wait, I need the." Like I went through the house. It probably took me like an hour to look at every nook and cranny because it was just so beautifully, gorgeously done.
And that was our first Demi project. And
Mhm.
her and Gavin were so amazing because they, helped us launch it. Um, and that's a good example because when we did their kitchen, which was we redid it, but we left some of the original kitchen and then we added. So it was a
Yeah.
hybrid, it wasn't a full renovation. And it's in like 100-year-old farmhouse, but they're modern people. So, they're a bit like me naturally, right? Where they like
Mhm.
the classic bones, but they came from Capitol Hill with a classic house as well, but wanted it to be modern. So I gave them two options. One was they settled on sort of like a blue, I think it was, option that was a bit calmer, really beautiful. And then the terracotta where we landed. And I think it was his brother or something. He was showing them, Gavin was showing his brother like the options. I think this is the story. And the brother was sort of like, well, you don't hire Zoe for the blue kitchen, you hire her to push you.
Yeah.
To me, when I saw it, because we did a photorealistic rendering of the space, which we use to visually communicate with our clients now, Amy, you would have loved this,
Oh, wow.
which now is like so easy to do with Chat GPT. And to your point, we really lean into progress and technology. And like that's really helped, I think, move us along. But I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I need to do this for my own kitchen. In the end,
Mhm.
I didn't because I gave it to them and it was really perfect for them. And so I think people come to me looking to push themselves.
Right.
I hope that they know I also practice a lot of restraint. We practice a lot of restraint in our design. So we're not just there to like blow up every space and make every space interesting. I think, in fact, that's the wrong way to approach color because then there's just too much eye candy. There's a lot of reprieve in their house specifically. There's a lot of reprieve in my house. It's that sort of constant where are we quiet? Where are we bold? Where is the restraint? Where are we pushing? So, yeah, I think it's just the dance, and in this case,
Yeah.
the kitchen was the moment. And But it's not always the moment. I did my own kitchen in a really quiet neutral uh,
Mm,
and used the floor to be bold. But we had this beautiful Decor in the dining room that was right off the kitchen. It was like, how much we can't have everyone be the star,
right.
you
Right.
know? So we sort of think of our spaces as the 80-20 rule, which we use in dieting as well, right? Like 80% of your diet is healthy and 20% is fun. And that feels good. And I think of that also with budgets. The 80% is nice and budget friendly, but 20% maybe not quite as much. Maybe there's a few stars in there. And also 80% is a canvas and 20%, is a star. And so that's kind of the formula we use so that we don't make the space feel too chaotic with color.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the benefits for people listening who maybe have never used a designer. And I want to talk about your Demi um, products, but that's the piece that I think is if you don't have, I mean, you might have a good eye, like I have a decent eye, but I could never put anything together, like because it's very hard, that balance. It's just, there's no formula for it, right? And it's like if you don't have that trained eye, it's just really hard to see and really hard to put things together that look cohesive and not too much. It's really an art and a science, right? So talk to us and tell our audience about Demi because I think this is such a smart idea and just like how it became and like what the process is if somebody was interested in it because it is more, it gives people access to you all across the US, right? Or international, I
Yeah.
don't even know.
So my fear came true that we would grow so big that people would believe they couldn't work with us,
Mhm.
which is a natural thing that happens in growth, which is counterintuitive to growth as far as I'm concerned. But it's not untrue that in full service, there are certain budgets that we just couldn't accommodate correctly because we had to spend so much time and energy on project management that the client would have ended up spending half of their budget on project management and not leave much for product if the budget wasn't full enough.
Right.
This happens across all sorts of professions. Eventually you realize I can't afford that lawyer anymore. I'm just priced out. Like it doesn't make sense. I'm only trying to get $10,000 back. I can't use this attorney who's $1,500 an hour, even though he's the best. I just can't use him.
Right. Right.
And so it isn't dissimilar from that. And but we were getting all these intakes, especially like 5 years ago, we were getting all these intakes before we had grown quite as big that we were already unable to take. And it wasn't for lack of scaling. We're quite big, we're 30, 35 people, which isn't enormous, and we plan to grow bigger, and we're not afraid to grow. It wasn't that, it was the budgets that we weren't
Yeah.
fortunately able to take. But that didn't make me comfortable. I also never wanted to get to this like place where I was like, oh, we only take $5 million projects. It just
Right. You want to be more accessible.
wanted to be more accessible because I'm an accessible human. And I can't afford myself. And that felt weird.
Mhm. Right.
Like,
Right.
that's bizarre. I can't even afford myself. And then I started to think about that. Like, oh, I can't afford myself. So what do I want? And I don't, but I want an amazing designer. I want an amazing team and I deserve that as a person. And these budgets were still amazing. We're not talking about these teeny tiny budgets. We're talking about like really robust, healthy budgets. And I started to think, well, I want really amazing talent when I work with somebody. And I'm willing to do a little bit of the lift if it means I could have access to better
Yeah.
talent. And by that, I mean, if I were working with someone, I'd be fine like talking to the painter or letting them in, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
I would want this insane talent to tell me, like, what do I paint the colors or how do I do it? And in my case, it would be marketing or whatever it is that I can't do creatively, but I would want the best of the best. Or an attorney, I'd be like, okay, listen, we can do it all virtually if it means you can work with me, or whatever
Right.
it is, right?
Yeah.
To try to get to the correct talent. So that was where it sort of came from. And then we decided, okay, well, if we ease up on the project management a bit, we still give within Demi, we still do the project management, meaning we take all of the liability. We give the client their paint schedule so they know how to communicate with their painter. We have touch points at all different spaces so that they're comfortable with the communication with their vendors. We just don't show up in person like we do for full service. And therefore, they have a lot more money to put toward product.
Right. Which is ultimately like, I get that, right? I mean, you want to put the money into the designer, the vision, the product, not as much because especially like if you can do it yourself and you're around, obviously there's people that don't have time to do it because you have to put the onus on yourself to like be more involved in the project. But that's like you want to spend the money on the stuff.
Yes. You want to, and on the design, like the
And
idea
on the design, right.
yes, we spend a little time getting the design right, and then we execute it. And it's not a fully hands off. It's certainly not e-design. So
Right.
it's a new offering. I also do the expert, which has been amazing, which is very hands off. When someone just wants to talk to me for an hour, like you were just saying, Aim, like if you wanted to just talk about this one little space for an
Right.
hour, I'll send you some links. You'll do it. You and I have done stuff like this before in our relationship together. And it's
Yes,
very
you mean when I text you and I haven't talked to you in a year and I'm like, Zoe, I'm in the
yes.
store. Which carpet should I get?
Right.
This or this?
Exactly. And so people will come with just like 5 questions and a small space. And like, I would never put them to Demi because they don't need that. That's
Right. They just
full
want like
service.
a consult, basically.
So now we have essentially 3 tiers. The expert sort of rounded us. Well, Demi actually rounded us out. We were part of the expert before we were with Demi. So
Okay.
now we have 3 tiers that you can, hang out with me and my team and get amazing, we think, service and design and all of the things. And um, so oftentimes we'll have people we'll intake people and they'll think that they're full service, but they'll end up at Demi, or they think they're Demi, but they end up the expert, or they'll think, whatever it is. And we sort of, it's really nice. So we can service many more people and work on like so many more projects.
Yeah, that's smart. So with Demi, do you still order the product or does the person order the product and manage that piece
No,
of it?
we order it and we have a
Oh,
procurement team that's dedicated. So
that's great.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's not totally hands off.
Yeah. That's like a nice combo though, because some things are harder to do than others, I feel like. And the ordering is one of them.
Right. And we do the install. So, and even if we're not there for the install, we set the whole thing up like a paint by numbers,
Right.
customer service. And Amy, I hope you would agree with me, has been a huge focus of mine forever. Like
Yes.
I always want the client to feel taken care of. Inevitably problems will happen. People will start to feel hemorrhaged, just like financially hemorrhaged, exhausted, emotionally, whatever it is. And I always so the same is for Demi. The client remains right. We will make it right. We want to make sure that even those there helping to support the process, that they feel very supported. And I think at this point, I've tapped on the psychology of this whole experience. And so I've used that to help build out the brand and how we approach clients.
I love it. It's so smart. It's so smart. Okay. So when I met you, I don't even think you had
Was married.
girls yet. I don't think were you married? I don't
wasn't
even think
married.
you were married. No. So in the time we've known each other, you've got married, you have 2 beautiful girls. Like and you've grown so much as a businesswoman. So how are you balancing all of this stuff? Because it can't be easy. And how old are the girls now?
So they're both May babies. So they're both turning this month. They're turning 7 and 9.
Wow.
Right? Yes, they're
Wow.
turning. That's right. So they're finishing first
I
and
think about it too.
yeah, they're finishing first and third grade.
Amazing.
Ran into you recently. Was I with the girl? Yeah, I was with the girls.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, over the summer or something like that.
I think your boys were probably my girl's age when I met you, or like younger even.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And now Jackson's graduating high school.
Yeah.
And Jules is in 9th grade and is a freshman.
So they were probably younger actually, because I think we met in like 2013 or 2014.
Yeah. No, they were younger. They were probably like 5 and 7 or something like that. Insane. Time flies.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so, I have, first of all, an amazing husband who's also the CFO of our company. So we do everything together, but we don't actually hang out at the office much, which is good.
Yes.
We're in such different fields. He does all the finance and operation, and I do all the design. But it's really nice working together because we can really support each other just in terms of picking up where the other one, like if I'm traveling, he's going to the school and making sure that someone's there to watch the recital because he has the space to do that because we have
Yeah.
our own company. And we feel very lucky about that. So that really helps. And, you know, I think it's like because my team has grown bigger, which feels like it would create more problems, it's actually given me a lot more space. And I really trust my team. I actually have like the most amazing team. Everyone on my team is so strong. And so I feel, and most have been with me 3+ years at this point. So it's a very well oiled machine. And therefore, I can get home typically at between 5 and 6 every day. If I want to drive, I don't even usually come in before 10. So I can drive the girls to school if I want. Do you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if just, I've really made that a priority. And that's only been recent. Um, I missed probably the first 5 years of their life. Hopefully they won't remember. So I won't
They
find
won't
much.
remember. They won't remember. They'll just see pictures.
As they're getting older, I'm realizing I need to make this more of a priority and doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause then they will remember and like want you around. And I totally get that. Do they
You
love
know,
coming into your office and playing? Oh,
they
sorry. Go
do.
ahead.
No, I was going to say with the travel, that, they give me sometimes, they don't like when I travel. So I have somewhat of a rule. I try not to travel more than 3 nights. And
Yeah.
oftentimes I'll do it in 1 or 2, if sometimes one day, so I'll make
Hmm.
sacrifices like that. I do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But I also think that for the children to see a role model or like a woman who works, but also has children and so I'm really trying to let them know that this whole world that they live in is very difficult to do. And like you have to put a lot of work into it. So when they come, they do love to come into the office. They come into the office, they'll help in the library, they'll sit at my desk, they'll look around, and if this team is scheming, they'll actually like give their opinion. They'll be asked their opinion, which is just like very sweet. And I think they're just seeing like they'll ask me questions. Are you nice to your employees? Do you give them Christmas off? Do
Aw.
you give them vacation? And I'm like, I think I'm nice to them. Yeah, we give them all that stuff up. But they're all very like concerned that we like run a healthy, kind business, which is good. Um,
That's really good and very generationally appropriate. I feel like the younger generation is
yes,
very like a lot more empathetic than our generation. They're
yeah,
always, which is a good thing.
correct. But totally. I mean, I know I always say because we're the same age, like it's so funny, right? Like no one gave a shit about our well-being.
Oh my God. No one. I've tried to change that with teams I've worked on for years of just like making sure everyone was like taking care of themselves and getting like, I tried to start that in all the companies I've worked at with my teams because it was like brutal. Like no one gave a shit about anything or like
Yeah.
how you were doing. When I don't travel as much now, I'm actually traveling this week, but when I do, same thing. I try not to be gone for too long because like you miss out on those things. And it's also more obvious. Like my kids didn't care about me traveling until like they got to probably your kids' age where they were like, "Wait, where are you going? Why are you leaving?"
And
Whereas
do they
like,
care now as they're older?
yeah, they
Oh,
do. They're like, "Oh, I don't know about maybe Jackson does. Who knows? He probably doesn't even realize I'm gone, until
a
like I'm
senior?
gone." What?
A
He's
senior?
he's a senior, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's so deep in
He's
it.
like he's already done with school and the graduation is in June and he's just yeah, it's madness. But yeah, exactly. I agree. And I think like a working mom is a better mom, such a good role model for the kids to see like you need to do all of these things in order to like be successful, whether it's personally, professionally, etc. Last question before we get into a wrap session. As we always like to think about wellness on our show and how to make ourselves feel good, like what types of things bring calming energy into your home? I know we talked about candles before, which I think do, and I know that greenery and things like that. But what kinds of things do you do? Because I'm sure when you're designing, you're thinking about that too. Like this is someone's home, you want to feel calm and comfortable.
For me personally, I think being surrounded by pieces of you is like a
Mm.
warm experience. So I like, we're in such a digital world now where we're almost like stripped of all things that are truly us, right? Like when we were young, you'd walk into someone's bedroom and look at like their CD collection, and it would tell you something about them. There's no CD. Now I guess you have records again, people, you know. So I think records, books, objects that talk about your travel that, people might ask questions about. For me, it creates such a warm experience. And also, you kind of then look around someone's living room and think, oh, that's an interesting piece. I wonder where they got it. Oh, where'd you get that interesting piece? Oh, I got that on my travels in Tokyo or whatever it is, and then you
Yeah.
start, oh, you lived in Japan? I didn't know that about you. Or so it tells your story. I don't like too much clutter. I don't want everything out, right? And I think that it's the whole idea of the great edit should always be happening where you're putting just enough out that it feels warm and shows you. I mean, if you're a super layered person and you want it all out, I think there's a way to do that. But for most people, I just think like having it, like I'm into art. So my whole living room is art books. And that's not because I just went to the store one day and bought a bunch of art books. It's because it's deep in my family and deep in who I am. And so I think being authentic with your pieces too, even if your designer is getting them for you, that you feel a connection and you have this, we do a bunch of programming on the front end to learn who our clients are. So I wouldn't deliver a book that my client would be like, I don't even know who this is. Or if I do, I say, I know you're going to love this, Amy, because you love this thing and you need to know about this artist or whatever it is.
Right.
And then you go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you told me about her. I didn't know about her or something like this. So I think that is, for me, creates the biggest sense of warmth in a house is just being surrounded by all the things you love.
Yeah, I love that. And it infuses your personality into the house. It doesn't feel like it's just a beautiful
Doesn't feel
interior.
staged. We don't
Yeah.
ever want that.
Right. No, I love that. That's awesome. Let's get into our wrap session. I can't remember if we did this last time because you were like one of our first guests, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Okay. What is your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Well, I don't typically leave the house without highlighter. Is,
Mm-hmm.
is that a beauty hack?
Sure. Whatever you
Okay, good.
like.
Because I feel like it gives you that sort of dewy, youthful, sun-kissed, mostly dewy. And when you're getting older, you really need to be dewy.
Yes. Agreed. It's all about like the creams, no
Yes.
powders.
No powder ever, and just constantly putting on moisturizer.
Yeah. Lathering it on. Totally agree.
I think, yeah, that's probably my biggest hack.
Yeah. Okay. 5-minute flow. So this is essentially like how to get ready in 5 minutes. Like you're a busy mom, like you're running out the door. Do you throw your hair back? What are you putting on? What do you put, like what are those quick things you do?
Okay, so I probably 90% of the time wear my hair in a bun. Not
Yes.
because I don't have time to do it. And so, you know, thankfully, I guess it kind of works. So I put my hair in a bun. I use hairspray, which I think Rachel taught me. I put hairspray into my hands or onto my brush and I
Ah,
and then it gives you like a really good part. So that doesn't take much time at all. And then I will typically put a sort of like foundation serum on. It's not a
yeah.
real foundation, it's more of a serum. Typology is what I'm using right now. And sometimes I use the Charlotte Tilbury, what's it called? Face filter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood face
Hollywood
filters.
filter, one of those. I use my highlighter always.
Which highlighter brands do you like?
I like the Glowgasm Charlotte Tilbury, but I also like this new one by Dibs that I've been really into with
Oh.
the highlighter stick. It's like amazing.
Ooh.
They're different. That one's more matte, not matte in the way that we hate, but like more solid. And the Glowgasm's more of a liquid form. So they're different. Depends how
Yeah.
dewy I want to be. And then I will oftentimes focus on my eyes. So I always have eyeshadow with me and I just often use that as eyeliner and shadow. And sometimes I even just use my finger. Like I'm not very,
That's pretty good for like a quick routine. I don't think I'd be able to do that quickly.
yeah. And then I always use a wand on my eyebrows and
Yes.
probably just Laneige on my lips.
Oh, that's what I'm wearing. I love
Yeah.
Laneige. I just go through about it's so good. And what about clothes? Like, what are you throwing on? Because you're always dressed so well.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. I feel like I'm not, so thank you. I wear a lot of jeans. I love favorite daughter jeans right now at the moment. They're probably my favorite jeans because they
Yeah.
have a little bit more of like a trouser fit.
Yeah.
So I like that they are kind of like hybrid-y. I wear a lot of Cezanne. I think their blouses, I'm wearing one right now, are just like easy to pop on.
Yeah.
Go from day to night pretty fluidly. They have pretty colors. I'm a color person, so it's nice. It can get like a little pop of color. I'm wearing black today, but that's because it's raining and sad and it felt like the wrong day.
I know it's rainy and horrible out.
I do a lot of flats. I have a lot of Leffler Randall flats. I have, who else do I wear? I have a lot of, I guess I wear some sneakers. I just got some cute bombers. I got these cute Margot. Is that what they're called? Margot flats that were cute. But yeah, tons of flats. I used to wear heels before COVID.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore either. Or
Leffler
if it is, it's like a
Randall-
small heel.
Yeah, Leffler Randall does a lot of platformy heels, and that I can do.
Yes.
I can't do a stiletto.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while, evening event, yes, but
Yes.
on the daily, yeah. Like I used to wear heels and all that stuff to work. And then like the last 5 years now, it's become flats, tennis shoes, cute little platforms. Like that's it.
I used to be like Beyonce in the construction zone site. Like, I'm not even kidding. And it was nothing. And now I put a heel on and I'm like, how did I do this?
I know. It's so
So
funny.
pathetic.
So funny. Okay. And how do you maintain your daily nirvana?
I work out. I do a lot of like weights. I actually just bought the P-Volve transformation. I was
Ooh.
Instagram targeted. They sent me a ball and I tried it. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I really just want to look like Jennifer Aniston. So we'll see. That
I've
happens.
never tried that.
The P-Volve, it's really hard. It's sort of it's kind of like mat Pilates with a bunch of like resistance bands and things like this. And
Okay.
weights.
They're opening one near me, so I'll have to try
Oh, they
it.
are?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. They're growing really fast.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I've seen the brands and I've kind of seen the equipment, but I didn't realize it was a studio also. I don't know. So yeah,
I think that part of it maybe is new, or maybe they started as a studio and now they're branding. It doesn't matter.
interesting.
I also try to get up before my family and have like an hour, whether it's just like outside taking a walk, it's nice out, or just even like drinking my coffee
Yeah.
or working out before they get up. I used to do transcendental meditation, but I just haven't done it in so long.
I feel like you talked about that last time we were on the show. Yeah.
When I do it, I like it, but just really don't get to it. So,
Yeah. That's good though. Waking up early. Katie does that.
really.
Yeah. And it's like the best part of, she always says she like has her coffee, she regroups. And then by the time everyone gets up, she's like ready.
Because otherwise you're in the hamster wheel with them.
Exactly. I feel like I could talk to you all day. So thank you for coming back and sharing all of your wisdom. I'm so happy to see all your growth and success, and just thank you for coming back and chatting with me and giving our listeners so many good tips and tricks. And yeah,
Great. I hope I did.
You did.
Thank you, Amy. This was so fun. It's always fun and different when you talk to a friend. It's like more intimate and
Yes.
experience.
Thanks for listening to Wellness Junkies. For more on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Wellness Junkies Official and find us on TikTok and YouTube at Wellness Junkies. You can also head to wellnessjunkiesofficial.com for expanded show notes, product links, and more. If you love the episode, leave a review and share it with a friend. We appreciate the love. Catch you next week. Bye.